What's up, everybody? Welcome to video number 3 of the Renegade Entrepreneur Blueprint. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create more money faster. I'll show you how to create more money faster. Now, one of the things that I always I think it's fascinating, looking at the difference between rich people and poor people. And one thing I've kind of picked up from my study of rich people and poor people is that poor people have very little in the way of structure for their time, energy, and resources. They don't have a whole lot of structure. Whereas wealthy people, on the other hand, they pretty much create structures for everything. 'Cause it's like, if you don't operate on a schedule, how you don't get as much done. If you don't create a budget, you wind up broke, your money goes anywhere. So it's like the more structures you create around anything in life, actually the more freedom it gives to you. And I know I was resistant to the ideas of structures, schedules, systems. I was resistant to that for a long time because I felt like, just being confined. I felt like having, everything too laid out actually confined me. Like there was no freedom in that. And it was actually in having structures set up that I actually did find my freedom. I'm not sure how many of you familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's work, but he has a diagram here that I'll hope you can see that. But there's four sides to what he refers to as the cash flow quadrant. The first is employee mindset. The employee grows up and he's told, very similar to how I was and maybe very similar to how you were, that in order to be successful, you need to go to college, go to school, come out, get a good job, work real hard, and maybe one day become a manager of a boss of some sort, so that you can, make lots of money. Okay, so he comes out and basically he works hard all of his life, but he never gets any ownership. There's never any what they call equity in any of his time. And so his money is directly tied to the amount of time that he spends into a job. As soon as he removes his time and energy from that job, his income then goes away. Okay, so that's the employee. The next step up from an employee is the self-employed entrepreneur. Now, again, he still believes that the way to make it is to work hard, put in lots and lots of work, but instead of doing that for somebody else, instead of doing that for an employer, he actually does it for himself. Okay, so he's a step better because at least he's building equity in his own brand and his own company. But the downfall is he doesn't trust anyone. He either doesn't trust anyone or he's not business savvy enough to basically hire employees and a staff to help him so that he can step away from the business. So again, even though he's self-employed and he is building equity in his own company and his own brand, his time is still very much directly related to how much time and energy he puts into his business. So again, not good. Anytime in creating wealth, we never want to have the amount of money that we create, have it be tied to how much time and energy that we put into something. We always want to have our money, come to us independently of how much time and energy we put into something. So then the next step up is a business owner. Okay, now the difference between a business owner and someone who's just self-employed is the business owner actually has systems and processes set up that actually run the business for him. Okay, so as opposed to him doing everything like the self-employed individual, he has systems and processes set up so that he can just go out, outsource whatever needs to be done, show that person that he's bringing into the business, look, here goes my system, here goes my process for the way things get done. I need you to complete this. And then from there, he manages the business by just looking at a report of what the processes are doing. He just manages the numbers. And so that's how a lot of these people that, have multiple businesses, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 businesses at a time. The reason why they can do that is because they're not physically going anywhere and working in the business and getting their hands dirty. They're actually hiring managers who then manage systems on their behalf. The only thing they have to do at that point is see how effective or ineffective that manager is at managing the processes. And the great thing about this is it's now what you have is a disconnect from the business owner's time and his money. His time and his money is very independent of how much money that he actually earns. The business is running and it's operating without his physical presence, without him being there. All he has to do at this point is basically manage the numbers, and he can do that from anywhere. So his income is completely independent of his time, his energy, his location. When you start getting into the realm of a business owner, this is when you can start to create time freedom. This is when you can start to create the lifestyle that you want for yourself. Now, the next step up from a business owner is the I for investor. An investor basically goes around and he looks for business systems that are already running in place, and then he simply funds those business systems. He buys into those business systems. Okay, so owning a stock, you're an investor if you own a stock, or if you've bought into ownership or partnership of any company. You're not really looking to establish the groundwork of actually starting the business, because it is a little bit of time to, and energy to start a business, but once it gets up and running, it actually runs on its own. As an investor, you're actually just taking your capital, you're putting it into the business, and then you're getting a return from, the operations of the business. So the investor is actually the most passive, because again, you're not doing any of the foundation, any of the groundwork that it takes to start up a business. You're just taking your capital and basically investing in a business and then getting a return. Ideally, this is where you want to be. Okay, you want to be a business owner who owns multiple businesses. You're an investor in multiple businesses which pay you regardless of whether you show up, regardless of whether you get your hands dirty. You're just basically managing the numbers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the key to really making money in any business opportunity. Any business opportunity where you're having to spend a whole lot of time in the business, you put you at a disadvantage, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Oprah has the same 24 hours. Steve Jobs had the same 24 hours. Bill Gates has the same 24 hours. But the difference in the productivity and the amount that someone is able to earn over their lifetime is basically a function of how much they can leverage their time versus the return that they get financially. So when you're starting in the internet business, you're always looking at it from, what can I systemize from what I'm doing? The internet, the great thing about the internet is it can be systemized. There's things that can be outsourced. I have a team of a few people in the Philippines that do a lot of the marketing stuff for me, so I don't actually have to physically be at my laptop for 8-10 hours a day. All I basically have to do is look at the results of the processes that they've been performing while I've been doing whatever I've been doing. So that is how you actually create more working less. That is the key to making wealth. You always want to make sure you're leveraging your time and energy to give you the highest possible return. If you think that you'd like to take your business to the next level, if you need some ideas on how you can systemize what you're doing, fill out the application below. Let me know what you're up to, and we'll get together. We'll do a 30-minute strategy session where I'll coach you. We'll see where you're at, what's working, what's not working, and we'll get you on the path to becoming financially independent and completely independent of your time and your money. This is video number 3. We'll see you in the next video number 4 of the Renegade Entrepreneur Board. We'll see you in video number 4 of the Renegade Entrepreneur Blueprint. Live big, dream big.